Yeah, I was just watching this Carl Froch, on his channel, Froch on Fighting. He's got this little channel that he's set up, where he talks about his accolades and his achievements and 80,000 at Wembley against George Groves and all that. He's got this little channel going on, he's trying to be controversial. He's trying to slag people off, in the boxing industry. He wants to be spoken about, don't he? Him and Tony Bellew. So he's got this little channel going on and he slags people off, and he's got his wife, behind the camera, really cheering him on. Like Adrian in Rocky. That's what Carl Froch's wife's like. Supporting him as he slags people off in the boxing industry. She wants to be Hollywood, don't she? She was in the magazines. That's where Carl Froch seen her at first, in the magazines. But then he took her out of the magazines and he married her. Like that film Pretty Woman. But now he's with the model wife. Carl Froch, he's become really superficial. He's had a nose job, he's had Botox, he wears makeup, he's had collagen injections, he goes on the sunbed. So he's really superficial nowadays, Carl Froch, and he's become a troll. He's not that tough warrior, that he used to be. He's become a troll. And his little wife, she loves it, when he slags people off in boxing. Like Gareth the Arsehole Davis.
And Gareth A. Davis as well, talking absolute bollocks. He's just happy to be there, isn't he? He's already showed his hand. He said, oh, listen, I'm a big advocate for Jake Paul and the Paul brothers and what they're doing. And I personally feel that it's great for boxing. Great for fucking boxing. Give your head a wobble, Gareth.
And he's slagging off Gareth the Arsehole Davis. But remember when Gareth the Arsehole Davis kicked Carl Froch, and Carl Froch started running off. And that was years ago, so Carl Froch has probably been thinking about it, ever since. So, now he's set this channel up, he's slagging off the arsehole Davis.
Last time he spoke about me, he was saying he's going to see me over the weekend and he's going to tell me to my face, going to start wagging his finger around near my face. Let me tell you something, Gad boy. Don't wave your finger in my face. It won't end well for you.
But then when he bumped into him recently, he started stroking his hair, and started acting all nice and friendly. And Carl Froch was saying on his channel, oh, what does the A stand for? What does the A stand for?
Gareth A. Davis. What does the A stand for?
But why didn't you ask him what the A stands for when you was interviewing him?
Gareth A. Davis. How you doing, mate?
Calling him mate. Instead of asking him what the A stands for. He did it with the Skype wanker as well. He's been dissing the Skype wanker for years, because the Skype wanker banged his wife.
Amir Khan, pipe down, because it's not going to end well for you.
But then when he bumped into him recently, he started acting all friendly again.
And wicked to catch up, man, and wicked to talk to you. It's been a nice little... I'm glad I've seen you, and I'm glad you smiled. You got that smile.
So he kind of pussied out there as well, Carl Froch.
But you've got a lot of fans as well out there, and I get some serious fucking abuse in my DMs.
Really?
So tell all your fucking boys to lay off the coke.
Leave me alone now. So guys, leave him alone. He's alright. He's one of the brothers, man.
Anyway...
You could tell that Carl Froch didn't like the thought of being one of the brothers. With the Skype wanker and the other Pakistani Muslims. Carl Froch, he doesn't want to be a part of that sort of brotherhood. He don't really like the Skype wanker or Muslims in general. He's only doing this interview, to get some hype for his channel. And he was trying to have a go at that Ariel Awani as well, wasn't he?
You don't know anything about boxing. I think you stick to MMA journalism. You're just talking bollocks.
But Carl Froch just kept repeating the same thing. Oh, you don't know about boxing. Stick to MMA.
He's an MMA commentator or MMA journalist. He should stick to fucking MMA. So, Ariel, keep your mouth shut.
Carl Froch, he couldn't back it up with anything.
You're just talking bollocks.
He hasn't got any facts. And this Ariel Awani responded to Froch saying, yeah, but you're saying I don't know about boxing, but I've interviewed some big names in boxing. Gervonta Davis, Boots Ennis, Katie Taylor. I've got a boxing show on DAZN with Adi Aladipo. I've had a boxing website since 2007. But Carl Froch just kept repeating the same thing.
You're just talking bollocks.
And that Ariel was saying that Froch won't go on his channel, to have a live debate. Because he needs his producer, he needs his wife.
Rage, back me up.
And Froch, he interviewed that Ben Whittaker, and he allowed Ben Whittaker to say, oh, I'm not a quitter. I boxed in the Olympics and I didn't quit, I got through it. But Carl Froch didn't say, yeah, but that's the amateurs, it's only 3 rounds. So what's that got to do with doing a 12-rounder against Liam Cameron, you know, a tough guy from Sheffield who probably had a chip on his shoulder because he got banned from boxing for 4 years. But you know, Froch interviewing this Ben Whittaker and not really putting it on him. Even though he was slagging him off as well, you know, on his channel. You know, Froch was asking this Ben Whittaker, you know, about his thoughts on the rematch, you know, between Beterbiev and Bivol.
Beterbiev, Bivol, same division as you.
Same division.
2 months, I mean, when you get there, a couple of years maybe.
You know, after that performance against Liam Cameron, you know, sucking up to this guy because he's getting a few clicks, a few likes. You know, he's getting a bit of dopamine, so Carl Froch is just talking nonsense. You know, the old Froch. Coogan interviewed him, and Coogan said he was really intimidated. You know, when he interviewed the old Froch, because Coogan said Froch would look at him and say, "Oh, what kind of question was that? Oh, come on, hurry up, how long's left of this interview, get on with it." And Coogan said he was intimidated, you know, by the old Froch. But you know, the new Carl Froch, you know, with the plastic nose and the Botox and the makeup, you know, and the slagging people off, you know, on his channel. But then when he sees him in person, it's a different story.
Rage, back me up.
And you know, Froch, he was slagging off Gareth the Arsehole Davis because Gareth the Arsehole Davis was like sucking up to Jake Paul and his manager, you know, to get access. But that's exactly what Carl Froch did with Lee Wood. You know, Lee Wood, yeah, he said that, you know, when he was trying to make his way up the ranks in boxing and Carl Froch was at the top of his game, Lee Wood said that Carl Froch didn't help him at all or support him, even though they're both from the same little small village in Nottingham as each other. You know, both of their families know each other. They box for the same amateur gym as each other. They went to the same school as each other. But you know, Lee Wood, he said that Carl Froch didn't support him at all. But then when Lee Wood became world champ and he was involved in Fight of the Year, you know, knocking that guy out of the ring, you know, and he was getting a load of attention, that's when Carl Froch tried to get in there with Lee Wood. You know, and there were talks of Lee Wood fighting at the City Ground, you know, in Nottingham. And that's what Carl Froch wanted to do, you know, in his career. But he didn't manage to do it. So he was trying to live his childhood dreams through Lee Wood. You know, asking Dominic Ingle for my address. You know, so he could come round with Lee the Alcoholic Froch. But then on his channel, he acts like he's never heard of me.
Thoughts on Tyan Boot? Never heard of him.
But he drove us to his house, you know, in Nottingham. You know, after we finished training. You know, we shared the same big heavy bag, you know, at the Phoenix Amateur Boxing Club in Nottingham. You know, and there was this trainer there who was a suspected wrong-un, and he got raided. And Carl Froch said that, you know, if it ever came out that he was a wrong-un, Carl Froch said that he's going to break his legs. But you know, for Carl Froch to act like he doesn't know me, he's basically doing what he's upset with Jake Paul for doing.
Is he talking about, oh, Carl Froch, who's Carl Froch? He knows who Carl Froch is.
But that's what I mean, you know, why is Carl Froch so bothered whether Jake Paul knows him or not? You know, why can't he just be content in retirement? You know, like Calzaghe. You know, Calzaghe's really content in retirement. You know, he's not running around Wales, is he? You know, talking about Jake Paul.
What about all the bullshit I've been having with Jake Paul? What do you reckon if I end up jumping in the ring with him?
It's like Jake Paul's in his head. You know, like how George Groves was. You know, when Froch needed a sports psychologist, you know, for the Groves rematch. And what really got to Froch was when Groves said to him, "Why are you wearing Union Jack on your shorts? You're not even British, you're from Poland." Because you know, Carl Froch's real dad, he's called Frank Froch, and he's from Poland. But he came to England, you know, and got with Carl Froch's mum. But you know, Carl Froch, he said his dad, Frank Froch, walked out. And he went back to Poland. So that's why people are saying Carl Froch hates immigrants. You know, because of his dad, Frank Froch. His full name's Carl Martin Froch. And he's got a construction business, you know, in Nottingham. And you know his brother, Lee the Alcoholic Froch, he runs it. And you know his mum, she was doing the paperwork. But you know, while she was doing that and getting paid for that, she was also claiming benefits. And she got done for benefit fraud. So yeah, the Frochers are definitely suspect.
He was the man who led Carl Froch out to all his title fights.
It was fantastic walking out to all that crowd. I loved it.
But all the time there was a secret.
The drinking took over my life and it was put him in a deep hole.
He used to drink and he's been through a bad time, but he's 3 years sober now. He's in sobriety. He's doing so well. I'm so pleased for him. I'm so proud of him.
But that's what I mean though, you know, those two talking about how bad it was, you know, when Lee, the alcoholic Froch, was really struggling with his addiction. But you know, this Carl Froch, he's always promoting gambling, innit? You know, that Cobra Casino. And like, you know, when he slags off people on his channel, you know, he's never really slagged off that Darren Till, has he? You know, he was calling out Froch.
I'd absolutely punch the head off Carl Froch. Is he going to do a face-to-face with me, a face-off with me, and start giving it all that? Means he'll get tucked down to his knees or strangle the cunt out. Fuck Carl Froch.
And Carl Froch did a little weak response video.
Listen, if Darren Till really wants to give the Cobra some stick, I've been retired 10 years. But you know what I'm like? I'll exchange banter.
Exchange banter. Carl Froch said that he'll exchange banter with Darren Till, who said he'll take Carl Froch down and strangle the cunt. And Carl Froch said that he'll exchange banter with Darren Till. You see what I mean though? This is the modern day Carl Froch. You know him, he's like a puppet on a string. You know his little channel, he's got a producer, you know, writes little funny lines for Carl Froch to read on his channel. You know, his little producer who pulls the strings, he told Carl Froch to call Jake Paul Fake Paul. You know, Carl Froch thinks it's really good wordplay. You know, offering to have banter with Darren Till and that, he kind of puss it out, didn't he? You know, like Tommy Fury. What do you think of that? You know, Tommy Fury pulling out of the fight with Darren Till because he thought Darren Till was going to kick him in his face. You know, I don't think Darren Till would be able to kick Tommy Fury in the face, you know, because like, you know, boxing shorts, they're not really designed, you know, to be able to kick high. Like, you remember that guy tried to kick Riddick Bowe? You know, Riddick Bowe knocked him out the ring. You know, and he went over the ropes, you know, like that Ben Whittaker. You know, Johnny Nelson, he did the splits, you know, during the intro to one of his fights. You know, but he was wearing those shorts, you know, where he was able to do the splits. Remember that Carl Froch leaked Joshua's WhatsApp messages as well. You know, when those two were having a back and forth. Joshua got interviewed and he got asked about Froch and he called Froch a prick. So Froch started messaging Joshua. So they were having a back and forth and Carl Froch went and leaked the WhatsApp messages. You know, to get that dopamine. You know, to get those clicks and likes. You know, leaking WhatsApp messages like that, it's a bit snidey, innit? You know, like benefit fraud.
But all the time there was a secret.
And you know, this Carl Froch as well, he tried to jump on the bandwagon.
There's a name there that's not worth mentioning. All I'll say is nonce.
So he's kind of reignited it, hasn't he, Carl Froch? You know, he's kind of turned the heating up, you know, like Dave Caldwell. But I'm not a little kid in their pants. So let's meet up in Nottingham.
Rage, back me up.
You know, I said this before, and then you ran to Dominic Ingle, you know, to try and get my address. You know, so you could come round with the alcoholic. Carl Froch was really upset, you know, when I was selling Lee the alcoholic Froch merch. You know, because I was making money off the back of that alcoholic and his downfall. But that's what Carl Froch is doing, you know, with his Cobra Casino. And you know, his mum fiddling about with the benefits and that. You know, he went to Saudi, you know, for the Usyk Fury rematch. Even though he was slagging off Saudi, saying, oh, they're just chucking money at sports events to try and take people's minds off of their human rights violations. You know, but then he went, didn't he, getting involved. You know, and he's probably sucking up to that little turkey. You know, that little so-called excellent guy. You know, to try and get that access. You know, like that arsehole Davis. He's going to try and worm his way in there with him, innit? You know, like how he tried to worm his way in there with Lee Wood. You know, like how his mum tried to worm her way into the job centre. But yeah, I'm going to wrap it up, you know. Thanks for tuning in again, yeah? Thanks for that.